You know it's hard out here for a pimp when he trying to get this money for the rent, for the Cadillacs and gas money spent. We'll have a whole lot of bitches jumping shit. You know it's hard out here for a pimp when he tryna get this money for the rent, for the Cadillacs and gas money spent. Will cause a whole lot of jumping shit. You know it's hard out here for a pimp when he tryna get this money for the rent, for the Cadillacs and gas money spent. Will have a whole lot of jumping shit.
What's going on, party people? It's your man, 50 Grand, the Godfather, Nate Milton, and you are about to listen to another excellent episode from the Nefarious Media Network. Since January of 2025, we have been putting it down for the crown, and we've been committed to bringing you truthful, thoughtful, turned-up commentary as it pertains to the worlds of sports, politics, pop culture, pro wrestling, entertainment, and life. Yes, life. This thing that we are all just trying to get through day by day. An electric word called life, as the man used to say. And that brings us to the drive for 500. Yes, 500 YouTube subscribers, which gets us halfway to monetization, and 500 Patreon subscribers. Patreon.com/Nefarious Media Network. That's our stretch goal for the year. Because if we hit those marks, it allows us the flexibility and the freedom and the funds, quite honestly, to do some more things here at the network, to be more consistent with our shows, to bring you new shows, and to bring some people on to help with production. So if you believe in us, man, if you believe in what we're doing here, because we got a lot of hard-working people, myself included, working 50, 60 hours a week at the shoot jobs, got families, got kids, got responsibilities, but we still do this, man, because we love this and we believe in this. And if you believe in us and you love the shows that we do, help us out, man. Help a brother out. Help a sister out. That's all we asking, because we are trying to change the game by any means necessary, even if those means may be nefarious.
Change is in the air, folks. Change is in the air. You brought your pen and pad to class. Welcome to Ring Theory. I am your host, Downtown Brown. You hear them horns playing in the background. You already know what that means. We about to drop some knowledge on you today, but I cannot do that alone. So you know what that means. The horns are bringing in my tag team partner, Mid-Card Mafia. Stand up. I'm looking for the leader, upper mid-card, Jay Lacey. Where you at, man? How you doing? You on mute, my brother. You on mute. My brother, you on mute.
Party foul, party foul, party foul. Wow, that is crazy. Here we are, 10 episodes deep, and here I am just still making rookie mistakes, bro. But you know what? I am excited if people can go back and relive. I'm excited to be here. I can't wait to share exactly what we got going on and what's planned for tonight's episode, bro. So let's get into it.
But once again, we cannot do that alone. There's a third. This is a trios division here. We be doing this 10 episodes. This man's been rocking with us along the way. So not one way, not three way. It's my man two way. Where two way Ray at? Come on in, man.
Test 1 2 1 2. Test.
Got them jokes. I earned that one now.
What's going on? It happens to the best of us, Brother Jay. I share in the excitement. I'm glad to be with you, brothers, once again, and I know we got a lot to get to. So, without further ado.
And with that said, this is episode 10. We're here to break down a lot of new stuff happening, a lot of changes in the air. The seasons are moving. It's fall. And with that being said, we have a new NXT champion, Obafemi, my man. The ruler has now fallen from the throne. And now we have an absolute one moving on and making his name. So happy to see Ricky Starks doing his thing. You see the Bound for Glory right here. That took place this past weekend. Santana. Changes in the air. The new TNA World Champion. Lita Santana. I've seen that hashtag going. Hey, let's see where this goes. Amazing. We knew it was coming, but hey, just because you know it's coming doesn't mean it's a bad thing. And this was well needed and over-deserved, in my opinion, from Mike Santana. So great to see that happening for him. Guess what? It's not just happening here in North America. We all the way over to the East, Japan. And King of Pro Wrestling, we're talking about Konosuke Takeshita winning the IWGP World Championship over Zack Sabre Jr. in a match that now allows him to go to Wrestle Kingdom. Will it? My big question to the group is, of the title changes I've talked about, what has excited you? And when it comes to Wrestle Kingdom, will Konosuke Takeshita make it to Wrestle Kingdom with that belt still? I know it's only January, but a lot can happen. Jay, what do you think?
Of all three, I can't really say I was more excited for one over the other one. I'm happy that all three were able to go ahead and make those, put those chips under their names. The one I was really, really excited for was Ricky Saints. I mean, we've known this guy's money. I mean, I've been following him since his NWA career, and I know he's been compared to The Rock, but I think he's offering a little something different. And for me, it's taken a while to get used to the Ricky Saints name, and I'm still not used to it. I still like Ricky Starks better, but it is what it is. Mike Santana, I am glad that that good things have happened for that man. I mean, he bet on himself. He's finally got the TNA World Championship under his belt, and I'm happy for him. I'm glad he's been able to break out from the tag team ranks and being able to come onto the scene as a singles champion. But Takeshita, that dude is special. That dude is different. He operates on a whole other level. I knew something was going to happen when he faced Kenny Omega, my favorite wrestler, Kenny Omega, back-to-back pay-per-view, and he beat him. And they started calling him the Alpha. And you don't put somebody over a superstar like Kenny Omega unless you got big, big plans for him. And now we're starting to see that into fruition. And to answer your question, do I see Takeshita going into Wrestle Kingdom with the gold? Yes, I do. I don't know if he retains, but I see him actually winning and holding on to it, for the next couple of months and until we get to Wrestle Kingdom.
Before I move on to Ray, let me ask you a little tag-in question then. Do you have a prediction about who he faces by chance? If not, it's okay. Oh, my mic is on mute. I did not know that. No, party foul.
No, I heard you.
Oh, you heard me?
Yeah, I think we lost Ray.
I'm here.
Oh.
Well, you're just waiting
No,
on
but-
you then, Jay.
No,
Oh, you want on me?
no,
Question, brother.
no. I had sent you a follow-up question of
Oh,
before we move on to
Ray.
Ray. No, my bad.
What is
Before we move on to Ray, my question to you is: do you have a prediction of who he might face at Wrestle Kingdom with
Okada.
that belt?
I think he's
Okada?
gonna face Okada. Everything that's
Okay.
lining up with the Callis family, they're telling that they're doing like a long burn on that story. I think he's gonna be facing Okada. Okada has New Japan ties. I think that's a perfect way to put on a main event because I mean this is going to be the most watched Wrestle Kingdom show to date, in my opinion. So I think bringing some homegrown talent like an Okada versus a Takeshita, I think that's going to be a banger of a match too. So
Okay, I like that. Same question to you, Ray. What were your highlights of those 3 championship changes? Did anything really stand out to you? And then for Takeshita, is he making it into Wrestle Kingdom as champion? And who is he facing?
Well, I'm in agreement as far as with Jay not being highly more excited at one particular event. I'm glad for all 3 men. I think they all are great performers. I think they all put in the work. They have been putting in the work for years, and I'm glad to see that they're all getting their due. Ricky Saints, we mentioned it after kind of being thrown into purgatory for so long at the end of his AEW run after he was trying to build something. I'm glad he's finally kind of in the driver's seat right now as far as NXT is concerned. He's already NXT North American and world champion there. So I think they see big things in him. So I'm glad to see where he goes from there. I'm glad to see that Mike Santana, Jay, you mentioned everything that like him betting on himself and him willing to get out of that tag team that stereotype and trying to break through on his own and no shame to Ortiz. If you want that money, get that money, brother. But if you do have that ambition to try to go forward and go on your own goal, then I highly agree that you should go for it. And we also didn't mention that the brother has been going through his battle with addiction, with alcoholism, and he's made it on the other side. And hopefully he continues to go on the right path and be role models for others. So I think he represents Puerto Rico very well. He puts that flag on his back. So let's go, Santana. Boricua, Boricua. I do agree that I think the biggest, if I can say that one person kind of stood out a little bit more for me out of the 3, it is Konosuke Takeshita. Like you said, he went from being like a prospect, a blue chipper, and then he went on to be the alpha. Every single match that he's in is just fantastic. Whether it be, like you mentioned, the 2 matches he had with Kenny Omega, whether it be the triple threat that he just had with Mascara, Dorado, and Okada, just everything that he's in, he's like pure gold. I believe it was the triple threat match he had earlier this year with Ricochet and Will Ospreay, like fire. So, and I know a lot of people are going to be like, "Oh, well, he was propped up by his opponents," but this guy is the truth. Like I don't care what you say. This guy is the truth, and he's the future of the business. And I'm very, very glad for him. I think we mentioned it either on the last Ring Theory or on the last NWA that it might be a little bit premature that he won it now and not like take that title shot into Wrestle Kingdom. But now that he has won it now, I think that he could start establishing his reign now. I agree. I think he's going to take that title into Wrestle Kingdom. I, however, do not think it's going to be Okada because I believe another question on the docket. I have a slot in mind for Okada, but I think with Wrestle Kingdom, I know you guys mentioned that it's going to be the first time that is on national Japanese television. But I think I don't think it's going to be a pushover, but I think that the writing's going to be on the wall, knowing that Takeshita is going to get the W and that he's going to continue to retain. So with that in mind, I do see him either in a rematch with Real Law. Well, no, see, I'm about to do it again. Will Ospreay Jr., Zack Sabre Jr.
There you go.
I'm about to do it again. the memes. But yes, either a rematch with Zack Sabre Jr. or taking on possibly Hiroki Goto. So and I think like you kind of give him those established vets to kind of build his name up, because I know he probably doesn't need it, at least in the States. I think that a lot of people are high on him. I'm not sure how people feel about him in Japan. Maybe they feel the same way, as far as like fans and as far as like the upper brass. And it'll be interesting to see how AEW and New Japan continue to collaborate and how they continue to dictate his stories and his title reign based on the relationship that they have with one another. So that'll be interesting to see.
I fully agree, and I like that. I like that. For me, I'm currently watching One Piece, and you might be like, "What does that have to do with wrestling?" They are currently at this point talking about the worst generation. And it's more or less about the new generation of pirates rising up to take over. Well, the three I just named out to you, though they conveniently are all different world, like different level world title changes. That's one for WWE, that's one for TNA, and that's one for AEW and New Japan. Across the board, you can see these developing youth of wrestlers growing on their brands. Takeshita, somebody who from Battle of the Belts 3 against Cesaro for the ROH title in Grand Rapids, Michigan, of all places. This man, from that match, I already knew, okay, yeah, he's the young chipper. He's the blue he's going to be something in the future. That match was amazing, and that was years ago. Well overdue. The Okada, not the Okada wins, but the Omega wins. The back-to-back wins at that Jay mentioned. The rise that he's been on. They've had to keep him cold here and there, but the international run, the man has been growing as a talent and even bigger as a babyface. So that babyface reign is going to break out. He is going to walk into Wrestle Kingdom as champion. I'm going to hold off on who I have for his opponent because I have a bigger question for the group before we move on. And then I'll say my opponent then. But spoiler alert, folks might know on the show who my opponent might be then. But with that said, you move on to Santana. Santana at AEW Blood and Guts in Detroit, blowing his knee out, getting carried out of that match, coming back, and after all that rehab, working himself into then betting on himself and saying, like, yeah, I don't want to be a tag team wrestler anymore. I want to be greater than that. Just like Ray said, that betting on yourself has shown dividends for Mike Santana and his different battles that he's been fighting on his own. He's got a movement behind him, and he's had a lot of great opportunities, whether it's winning the TNA Survivor Series style match on NXT and leading that for their team with him and Moose, or whether it's also you look on the back end and you have him now winning that world title and really establishing himself to be the leader of that brand. It's going to be some amazing things for the future, and I don't think WWE is too off or too far for him in the next maybe year. He might have that world title reign and wrap up, and I could see him by WrestleMania 43 being in the company. Maybe not on the main roster, but I could see him in the company. So, but my question to the group, and Ricky, I have loved Ricky. I drove across the state just to go see this man wrestle Bryan Danielson in a Texas death match. Like that's the man. Ricky Starks, Ricky Saints, Starks was such the name. I agree with you, Jay. Saints it just doesn't rest on the tongue like Starks used to. But with that said, my man is making strides. Ray stated he's already won 2 titles in the company. And he's on the rise. I cannot wait to see what he does when he gets to the main roster. But I'm enjoying what he's doing on NXT, and I got to support the man as he's doing his thing. So, but to the group, Hiroshi Tanahashi is having his final Wrestle Kingdom match. Who is his opponent? Gray, let's go you.
All right.
We're going to go in reverse order.
I think, as I alluded to, I think it's going to be his biggest rival. I think it's going to be Okada.
Okay.
I think it's a good way to end out on. And they have so much good chemistry with one another that I think Okada, even with the depleted state that Tanahashi is in right now, I think Okada is still going to do his best to make him look good. Okada ain't losing though. But
Okay.
the only thing that kind of brings pause with me for that decision is that I don't know how New Japan, I know usually traditionally in American wrestling, if you have the older guy who's going out on his shield, then you want to at least have him go out to the newer generation or to somebody that can get the rub and use that later on down the line. So, Okada already got the rub, especially in Japan. So he doesn't really need the win. Like if I could think of somebody who's up and coming that could use the win, maybe. And again, I'm similar to Jay. Like I think Jay mentioned off air, and I'm similar is where my New Japan knowledge is a little bit limited, but I do know a few names and a few of the big stars that are coming up now. But I could see, I don't know, because I think Gabe Kidd might be wrapped up into something else around that time. Maybe a Yoda Tsuji to try to bring up, or I'm blanking on the brother's name who was a junior heavyweight champion before. I'm blanking on his name, but I could see like a Yoda Tsuji, possibly a Gabe Kidd for a final match for Tanahashi.
Okay.
If not Okada.
Okay. Were you trying to think of Hiromu?
Yes, Takahashi. See?
Yeah.
See, I didn't want to get the Tana and the Takas mixed up.
Hey. I got you.
Appreciate it.
And yeah, we are not the biggest New Japan watchers. I don't consistently watch, but I got version 4 right here. It's one of my favorite belts of all time. It's one of the most beautiful looking belts. And I snipe from afar when I watch my New Japan stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But with that being said, I feel like that's the group's consensus as well. But Jay, who do you think Hiromu is going to be facing? Not Hiromu. Hiroshi. See, look at me. I'm already messing it up. Who is Hiroshi going to be facing in his final match?
Now we're going to get the New Japan fans all us. Y'all don't even know what you're talking about.
Just embrace it.
Yeah.
Just embrace it. That's all I can tell you. I'm going to give you 2 names. One is like a fantasy book name, and the other one is more likely it could happen. And Ray kind of alluded that he thinks Okada is one of those things. And listening to your reasoning, okay, I'm not mad at that. That would be a good opponent for Tanahashi's last match. But I'm sticking to my guns. I'm gonna go with Shibata. I'm gonna go with Shibata as Katsuyori Shibata. I think that they've had some matches before that have been pretty solid. So I would love to see that. And my fantasy book match, and I don't know if it can happen. I highly doubt it's going to happen, but I would love for Shinsuke Nakamura to be his last match.
Yeah, I've heard that.
That would be phenomenal. I mean, that would do numbers right there. Starting off in 2026, that would be amazing. But Yeah, that's my fantasy one. But I'll go with Katsuyori Shibata as his final opponent.
I like that. Bringing it back to his original trio that he came up with. So no, I'm a big fan of that.
Now it's my turn to come up with a follow-up downtown for Jay. So we all know the circumstance under which Shibata had to leave New Japan. Do you think like the upper brass is going to be able to kind of get him through? And do you think he's even going to be able to pass a physical up there in the land of the rising sun to even be a possibility?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm hoping against hope that happens, because I think that would be a fire match. I mean, if you look at the work that Shibata's been doing lately, I mean, he's been putting on some great matches. Even with his limited work style, he makes it look really, really well. I mean, yes, he's in a trio, and no, he's not doing a lot of the heavy lifting, but he still looks like he can put on a good match, especially with an opponent that he's familiar with. And his opponent's limited as well, too. It's not going to be an AJ Styles, John Cena type of match. It just isn't. But I think for a final match, I think they're going to be able to do enough to make it satisfying, to give him the retirement send-off that he deserves, especially for the career that he's had. So,
gotcha.
Okay. I see y'all living in a great world. Y'all fantasy booking. Y'all have some great fantasy bookings. I wasn't reaching that far. I should have reached further. I should have dreamed just a little bit bigger. I think part of my personal experience also has ruined this for me. And so that's why my pick for Hiroshi Tanahashi's final match is him going to face the man he faced in America in his final U.S. match at Windy City Riot, which I was there for live, which was a very emotional affair. By the end of it, of him losing to Konosuke Takeshita. Oh my God, I'm tearing up these names. Hey.
Okay.
I think he gets one last crack, one last gunsling for the world title. Can he do it? Yeah, I'm winning. But this is a Hiroshi Tanahashi classic. We're gonna go the whole way through, building up to one last final big high fly flow. I think he beats him in this reverse emotional affair that when it happened in the US, it's not like they were treating Takeshita as like a heel. It was this very mutual respect thing. They were both crying over it. Him giving that full circle moment. He talks about being full circle, giving him that last moment. But on national television, them having this kind of epic battle and then him almost anointing him in the same way that Rock and Hogan, by the end of it, both people were being cheered on and being baby faces. I think we can have that result at the end of this match with Tanahashi getting that feel-good win. And I only say the feel-good win because we are on national television, and they have not done that in many years for a Wrestle Kingdom. So to have that moment for his final match, I think we want to send the country home happy. This man has brought so many joyful moments to that country. I think Tanahashi gets it done as a gunslinger. Hey, that's my final opponent for Hiroshi Tanahashi. And that's who that belt's getting defended against at Wrestle Kingdom 20. So those are our thoughts on Wrestle Kingdom, and then the three new champions, the trio, if you will, that has been elected and moving their brands forward. But now we're going to talk about another crown that has been placed and went down last week, down under, that is, in Australia. Oh, wow. I didn't know where I was going with that. But we're going to run down the card, and I want to hear everybody's thoughts about last weekend's show. So in the men's Crown Jewel Championship match, we had Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes. Rollins finally gets that big win against Cody, but we find out next night on Raw, ousted from the division, if you will, and then he has now, reports say he's out of the Japan show that they're going to Sumo Hall for, and reports saying he's going to have to relinquish that title. And it's going to be a wrap for him. So we'll get thoughts on that. Tiffany Stratton, Stephanie Becerra for the Women's Crown Jewel Championship The care beats Stratton. Takes that championship home. We love to see it. Bronson Reed versus Roman Reigns in a Australian street fight, the most dangerous match this man is. Oh, he's so known for that we ain't never seen him do in WWE. Well, hey, the record stands. He beat the Chargers. This is his match, and he won it. Now the new tribal chief, Bronson Reed, elected. And with that being said, Roman getting speared through a table by his cousin by accident because his cousin trying to get in some bigger shoes that he don't need to be in right now. He can't now come. There's no trick or treating now.
Nope.
Thanksgiving, hey, that's gonna be a cold. And Jimmy and Jay gonna have a cold Thanksgiving by themselves. That's a big family you missing out on. That's a big family. And so hey, but Tribal Chief spoke. I don't want to see you to Christmas, so that's crazy. That's crazy.
That was
wild. Crazy word. We got Rhea Ripley and Io Sky defeating the Kabuki Warriors in a great little tag team match that had to follow an amazing last time match that some people might sit on one side of the spectrum of liking it. Some people might think it's the greatest thing ever. No matter where you land. John Cena versus AJ Styles. John Okada hitting that tombstone and then picking AJ up for a AA to end the match. I was like, if that ain't the Rainmaker tombstone combo, I ain't never seen you before. John Okada, but look at you in your final year breaking out. Where was this at WrestleMania? Give me my money back. Where was this at these other opportunities? Give me my money back. Anyway, for you all, nice little short show. What stood out for you all? Was this a bigger improvement on WrestlePalooza for you? And yeah, we gonna rock with that. Is there anything you see yourself coming back to in the show in the future? Like, you know what? I gotta catch that match again. I gotta rewatch that again. Is there something on this card that would say that speaks to you in that way? Let's go with Ray first.
All right. Well, I was trying to pull up the card just to see. I'll just start talking on based off what's on my head right now. So you mentioned, and I know we'll probably get more into this as we go along, but you mentioned the injury with Seth. First off, he finally got the dub through nefarious means, but he was able to get the job done. We still don't have a reasoning from the White Vision about their motives and why they did it. And it looked like it was pretty much just Braun, and then Braun just captaining the ship, and Bronson followed along. So, and then it looked like Paul Heyman had no choice but to align with those two big monsters. So, I think it was well done. What this means for Seth as far as like what's going on with the shoulder. First off, you got a shoulder injury, and you're still like, oh, but you cleared to take a spear in which you had to bump and affect your shoulder, and then you're cleared to take a splash, a giant splash, a tsunami, if you will, from Bronson Reed, which you have to protect yourself by kind of putting your arms in front of you, which involve your shoulder. So hopefully with him being able to take those moves and go out that way, hopefully then that doesn't mean a long term. I think I heard that he is undergoing surgery, so we'll see how long that takes him. Whether or not, and I don't want to get into the speculation business as far as like when he's going to be back, but it's a decent time now because you're kind of still a few months out, depending on how long the timetable goes. We're still like maybe 4 or 5 months out from Mania. So, I mean, there might be a chance. Who knows? I don't know if he has a similar injury as Liv Morgan, where I believe she tore a labrum and she's out for at least 6 months, I think they said. So I don't know if it's a similar injury and if it's going to be a similar timetable, but we'll see what happens with that. Or maybe he's just pulling the wool over our eyes, just like he did with SummerSlam. And maybe he's just faking it all along. Maybe he might have just had them say, "Hey guys, take me out so I could get the sympathy." So but then I doubt it. But
Okay,
you
I was
never
gonna have
know.
to ask: is this another boy cries wolf, and we just trying to get one over on Punk again? I had to ask that as a follow up, but you already kind of addressed that. So okay,
Uh
cool.
it could be. But yeah, that was a big thing that stood out. Another thing you mentioned with Roman, I think they really are telling a pretty intriguing story with Jay, as far as trying to go into business for himself and being more self-sufficient and trying to get things done on his own. But not only did he say don't I don't want to see y'all till Christmas, but he also before that, and I think this can be considered the official turn of Roman Reigns, not like the official babyface term. Like I think a lot of people were kind of in the vein as though he still hasn't really changed much. Like his attitude hasn't really changed since losing the belt to Cody about a year and a half ago. Um, it's just that he's kind of like rebuilding himself up on his own, but now you can kind of see when he said everybody already thinks I can't do stuff on my own. So now you're kind of seeing like before he would have loved to have had them out to have his back, and then he realized it's different when I lose. Y'all supposed to have my back and I lose. So I think he's kind of realizing that, you know what, I was kind of, he didn't say all of this then, but he was like, you know what, I shouldn't have had you guys out there. I should have been trying to prove that I could do it on my own all along. So I don't know. Maybe I'm looking too much into it, but I think I see this as that the final stage of him kind of coming to terms and kind of turning over a new leaf. So but with that, yes, I think it's a big, I know a lot of people were like, oh, ain't no way Roman losing. It was like, nah, I was in the opposite camp. I was like, there's no way that Bronson's losing. He just lost to this man like a couple months ago. So I'm like, there's got to be some way, and they made it happen. Again, they throwing stipulations on matches uh in a short amount of time. Like I didn't think it was announced that this would be an Australian street fight until maybe the day of, just like they threw that label on WrestleMania or WrestlePalooza, I should say, when they had the tag match with the Vision and the Usos. It was like, oh, suddenly it's a special referee match. Oh, and suddenly now the special referee, he's pretty much going to make it a no DQ match. It was like, oh, what? Okay. so so I think that was a similar thing that happened with Roman and with Bronson, and just like, let's just tack something on just to make it seem like it's special. But I'll have to look through a little bit of the rest of the card just to get a sense of, I think Vaquer, I think she worked her butt off. Oh, I think one thing that does stand out to me as well is the Rio match with the Kabuki Warriors. I think that was a decent match. I think they put a ton of heat on Rhea and Io as far as just beating them down for maybe like the first 5-10 minutes of the match, and then them being able to build back up and depend on one another to get the W. So I think that was a fun match as well. But yeah, Stephanie Vaquer finally, Tiffy time had run out a little bit. Like she didn't lose a championship, but now we see some vulnerabilities within Tiffy as a character in kayfabe, to where she was able to take an L this time. So we'll see if that leads to anything down the line as far as someone else being able to take a bit of the chink out the armor and actually take the title away from Tiffany. And we'll see, similar to when we were talking about Ricky Starks, like all eyes are on Stephanie Vecher right now. Just everybody sees a lot in her. And again, I know, I think Chris was talking about this before. I know it's not like equal. It's not like an equal. You can't assume that the similar thing was going to happen had she had stayed with AEW, but just to allow WWE to just kind of sneak under their nose and snipe her off like that, I think she would have been a decent fit at AEW, but she's a great fit she was a great fit in NXT, and she's a great fit now on the main roster. So those are my thoughts.
Okay. And AJ, do we want to see an AJ?
Oh, Cena AJ. Oh, I thought it was a good match. I think they were playing the hits. I think it was a great match. I was actually, because I didn't get a chance to. Well, I was watching a bit live, and I was doing like a walk run at the time, so I was just walking, doing like a 5K, and I was just walking and watching the match, and then I'm just like, once they started pulling out those moves, like once he got him with the Sister Abigail, I was like, oh, Sister Abigail, I'm in the trail like, and then AJ hit the Angels ring. So I think they knew how to pull on those nostalgia strings. Was it a Ospreay versus Ricochet match? No, but I think they knew what they can do, especially with the state of their bodies at the time. Not saying that they're like broken down, but just like AJ can't do what he once did before. Like he's saying under no circumstances is he ever doing the spiral tap or the or the Fosbury flop again, but he can still manage to pull off incredible moves that even people half his age can't pull off. And John Cena, even though he's still limited in his movement, he's still strong as an ox, and he can still catch people in midair, roll through, pick them, deadlift them up, and just move them around at will. So I think they were just using their strengths, and they were kind of harkening back to their biggest rivals. So it was fun to see as a fan who's been watching these guys for the better part of 20 years. So I thought as far as, again, nostalgia farming, I thought it was a great match.
Okay. How about you, Jay? What were highlights for you?
The only match that I would really go back and watch would be the Cena Styles match, for all the reasons that Ray mentioned. I go to watch, not really go, but I watch wrestling or sports entertainment for, to turn my mind off, and I don't watch it to get emotional, Seeing John Cena get emotional after the Sister Abigail and seeing the Fireflies come out, that did a little something. I'm like, what is going on? Why are you doing this to me? Stop it. It wasn't supposed to be a 5-star match, and it's not designed to be a 5-star match. To Ray's point, it was supposed to just play the hits. And the way that Cena built up this match without even being in the building to say, hey, look, I want to face AJ Styles. Everything was just done online. And for them to pull off the match from even like AJ Styles' introduction, the special introduction that he got was really like, okay. That kind of started the path of, okay, this is what we're going to do. And I think they over-delivered, in my opinion, and it makes me really wonder, what if John Cena's retirement arc could have been something like this entire time? That's what now I'm like scratching my head, because before it was like 1 to 10, how would you rate John Cena's retirement tour? before the match, I would have said probably like a 2. Now we're pulling it up to about a 4. You know what I'm saying? And that's a good thing because what could have been, you know? But yeah, all I'm saying, right? I guess I'm rambling, but what I think that's the only match I would go back, and I think that would probably even qualify for one of my top matches of 2025 so far. Because I mean, we're already in October, but one of my top matches of the year because they were able to not so much put on a clinic, but it's all the emotion, all the entertainment value, the callbacks. That's what pro wrestling is all about. So that's why I think the other matches were okay. And you know, setting the bar super low with the WrestlePalooza, it was much better than that. So, you know, no applause for that.
Okay. For me, man, it's definitely I'm aligning with you. That is most definitely way better than WrestlePalooza. And also, I didn't feel like I had to hear the hype train behind this one as much as we heard behind WrestlePalooza as well. So, it's gonna be almost like Wrestle. We want it to be like a big tent pole event every year. Okay, cool, but y'all didn't deliver on that energy wise. This card, from the last match to the first match, I do believe delivered in that. You get your Roman match where you're given an up and comer, a hometown person who shockingly did not have the crowd behind him like I thought he would. Roman was just doing his acknowledge me babyface stuff as always. But he still gets the dub in his hometown. So good to see Bronson Reed leveling up. I thought the story was going to be Bronson Reed now with him equaling up to Braun, making Braun jealous. But here's the thing. I'm keeping it a buck with you. Great to see Seth win that match. It felt a little bit definitely long in the tooth. We got to cut about 5 minutes off. And personal just move I want to cut out that match. That top rope avalanche, not Cody Rhodes, not Cody Cutter, Crossroads. All these CR words. He got all these. But his finish off the top, I hated that was kicked out of. I just okay, we can bastardize the one Crossroads. We can 2, and I can still somehow kick out. Okay, whatever. The Trinity is supposed to be like that one he keeps. We could have kept the Avalanche. We could have kept that as like one of those sacred ones too. But cool. Step too far. Seth won. Nefarious means, as you stated, Ray. Love it. Cool about it. Him getting snatched out the vision though was needed because he was talking too much, and he'd been talking too much. And if you look at Braun half the time is always like, "Yo, like, why are you talking like that? Why are you talking like that?"
Yeah.
We not your little homies. We're not your little homies. And that's literally what Braun told him on Monday. We're not your little homies. He ran through Seth and then looked at Bronson and said, "Hey, you with me? Are you against me, homie? All right, well, come on. Let me drag that body over here." I don't know where they go forward from here, but I hope Ron Breaker wins that world title. Would love to see Company Man get the belt back. But nah, I think it's time for the dogs to start barking with this. So, and the energy in Australia showed one thing. I think he's ready for it. So let's see where it goes with that. Stephanie, glad she won that match. Good to see her doubling up on these back-to-back big pay-per-view wins. Tiffany, I was just good on her. I did not need her to win this match. And that would just kind of upset me because, like, okay, the Crown Jewel Championship, 2 blonde, blue-eyed, back-to-back winners each year. Cool. Like, Cody, at least, I get Cody's story of, like, okay, I'm trying to retain my ring. But Liv didn't even have a chance to come in here. So, like, if it would have been Tiffany winning this again, I'd be like, I'm good, boss. I'm good, boss. I need some caramel or something in here. Like, I can't. Too much milk. Too much milk. With that said, and that's not me shooting at nobody in the. I know. Don't take that. I'm not shooting strays. It's dark outside. I'm not throwing no shade. I don't need no shade. It's already nighttime. So don't take that. I'm not Nate. I ain't coming. I'm saying I sip on milk from time to time. I help myself in that. Chill out. I ain't coming at you, but good to see Rhea Ripley and Io Sky win they match, do they thing. I hope that Asuka gets to have a big run with the way she's building her character with this. She doesn't get too many big wins, period. But I'm hoping some are on the way for her coming up. John Cena, AJ Styles. We're gonna end off with that because yeah, that match was amazing. Is it my favorite match of theirs? No, and I can tell you, it's easily 100% because AJ didn't win. That's it. That's all. That's it. And I'm simple like that. Hey, I just want to see my man win. And I know we were not going to make the narrative. Oh, the TNA franchise is better than the WWE franchise in the end. No, Cena had to win the series by the end of it. So I got that. And yes, they did a repeat of their classic at the Royal Rumble where they never left the ring the whole match, which I love both matches for that. That Rumble match, though, because it was just them and their moves and their energy, I liked it. I get that they were hitting their history and past people and AJ hitting a nice little sweet chin music and all those fun things.
Mm-hmm.
I can never put this as their top match for me for whatever reason. So even if it has to be a AJ losing, that Rumble match is something else to behold. I remember where I was watching that match, and so that shout out to that. But those two, once again, give me my money back cash in my hand because my God, where was this? He was good at Chamber. I ain't gonna complain at Chamber, but I was at the Rumble. You could have gave me more in that Rumble match. I was at Mania. By God, by George, what was that? Come on, and I didn't have to watch the rest of these shows. You could have gave me more on the back end the whole time. Are you trying to protect yourself or Peacemaker for shooting this or that? Cool, but then don't have a retirement year until you free. Like set yourself free of everything. Do the run. If you get hurt, you get hurt. If you don't, you don't. Maybe you try to pace yourself, but man, it's a sprint at this point, and you are showing us what you can do. So that Unreal documentary, get that washed. I can't do this stuff out of here no more because I'm seeing you do it constantly now. You're lying. Caught you. Gotcha. I like to think. So, but we're going to move on now. Any last thoughts about Crown Jewel before we hop on to take a nap and get a WrestleDream on?
Well, if the reports are correct, hope Seth Rollins has a good recovery, a speedy recovery. I mean, wouldn't wish injury on anybody, but dang. It's just like Sugar Free says in one of his lyrics, same thing that make you laugh will make you cry.
And hopefully, I don't want him to miss Mania. I hope he can come back in time for that or to have a part because the man has been putting his body on the line for us.
100.
If this is a legitimate injury, I would like to see him heal up fast and come back soon. So stop. And if this is a storyline, stop playing with people, man. Stop playing with people.
It's not funny
You're
anymore.
gonna be boycott Wolf. But with that being said, we gonna move on to a WrestleDream. And so we're gonna do a prediction segment. We're gonna kick off, we're gonna go from the top down to how I have the card. We're gonna say who you want to win, and if you have any extra why, you can throw that on there. If not, we'll move on to the next match. And we're gonna kick off with what I think is gonna be the opener. And personally, to me, I'm expecting to be a truly fun match, and I want to see this be the level of a Hangman MJF match for a Jamie Hayter and a Tekla. And I'm going with a Tekla to kick off this pay-per-view with a win. Because if we have a match at the level of that, both women are going to come out looking strong by the end. A great opener. People are going to be talking about that, get the show started and jazzed up right. But Tekla also needs that win. Because Jamie's win can come back in blood and guts later down the line for that big babyface win with her team. She doesn't need to get that in right now. So I'm going with Tekla for the win. Jay, who you got?
I also have the Toxic Spider. I like Jamie Hayter. I thought she had some great momentum up until her first injury when she was holding the title. And there's seems to be a little bit of a disconnect now. And I would love to see her, I'm rooting for her. I would love to see her, find that mojo, get that mojo back. Unfortunately, I think with Tekla being new to the roster, getting her established is extremely important to build the strength of the ladies division. And I agree with you. I think she's gonna come up with the W.
Same, same. I think, especially with his, and through no fault of her own, it's just she's been, as far as Jamie Hayter, she's been pretty inconsistent as far as her availability due to injuries, and again through no fault of her own. But I think it's a really good name. You already have her. She's won the world championship before, and I think if you want to continue to build up Tekla as this beast, along with the Triangle of Madness, you got to put her over. So I agree. We're all unanimous with Tekla getting the dub.
All right. Well, with that, it's time for some people to get hurt. And somebody might get hurt in that Tekla match with Jamie Hayter. Like kayfabe hurt. We ain't talking about actual hurt. We're not talking about I'm limping in with a knee injury and I might be going to Stanford or not. Who knows? We're talking about kayfabe. Straight kayfabe. Hurt people. And we looking at the Hurt Syndicate, and then now Tornado Trios match against the Demand. Who do you all have? We're gonna go reverse order with it. Ray, who you thinking about?
Well, I think this is like the rubber match because I believe the Demand got the match in the last pay-per-view, and then the Hurt Business ended up getting the street fight. I think in order to continue, well, it's hard to pick because on the one hand, you do want the Hurt Business to be seen as like these big behemoths within AEW, but on the other hand, do you really want to continue to push them as a team? Not saying that you break them up, or Hurt Syndicate, I should say. Not saying that you break them up, but as I suggested, I believe on our last episode of NWA, Nubian Wrestling Advocates, which you can find on Post Wrestling, I feel as though you could be like, all right, well, will be like, well, I think I'm the weak link on the trios. I think you guys have done all you need to do as tag champs. And I think that you guys can strike out individually and strike out in singles competition. So I think in order to kind of make that push with them, I think you want to have them lose. And you want to kind of make the Demand look like a force to be reckoned with as well. You don't want to have them looking like just some scrubs that they get close to the top, but then always get batted down by the real guys. So you don't want to continue to make them look like that. So I think I'm going to go with the Demand.
Okay. How about you, Jay? Who are you thinking about?
I think it's probably going to go the Syndicate's way, and here's why. On Wednesday, we saw Shelton Benjamin eat the pin, through interference or whatnot in the tag team match. I just don't see the Syndicate taking 2 L's within the same week. I think the Demand has already been built. I think the Gates of Agony look a lot better, a lot stronger than they have in the last several months. I mean, they had a good Ring of Honor stretch where they were wrecking shop over there, and I think the MVP Lashley and Benjamin have elevated them to a point where I think they can actually vie for the tag titles. So I think what's been done in terms of elevation for both groups, I think the job's already been done. So I don't see them going on top of or going over on the Hurt Syndicate. So I think the Demand loses on this one.
Okay. All right. Well, we got one for the Demand. We got one for the Syndicate. And it's going to be me going with the Demand. Long story short, these brothers have been in the mouths of the Hurt Syndicate to these reports of, oh, if we're going to talk about the reports of them not wanting to lose, well, they've constantly brought up, well, we want to lose to teams like what was it? Gates of Agony. Their name prior to this. So with that being said, that has been brought up constantly. Who have you seen really getting that much offense in AEW on Bobby Lashley like that?
Mhm.
Not too many people have been getting that kind of offense on Bobby. So you looking at that, this group has had the storyline going since that card was handed to Ricochet all the way back. And yeah, we might think that some MJF, Nefarious energy might be in the background still somehow, potentially. If that's not the case, Ricochet needs to not be treated like a goof. They need to be on the way to some gold. But prior to the whole point of the demand being formed by Ricochet was to get gold. And so they are going to win this match. They are going to be the ones to defeat the Ops later down the line for the trios title.
I can see
do
that.
think MVP is probably going to be the one to take the pin in this one as well, to protect the other two, so that way when they break out, I think we're going to take a pause for the cause right now on their trios run, like was stated. They're going to do a separate run, singles on both sides, and then I think they run it back later down the line with the demand for the trios belt, and they get that belt back. And it's going to be kind of after the demands had some retentions and a couple of months with those belts to actually kind of establish themselves and really have a reign. So that's why I'm definitely going with the demand for the win. So
Well,
we 2-1 there.
Here's another wrinkle on that. And so the reason why I'm going with the Syndicate, Cedric Alexander. I think we may have somebody popping up. And if he pops up, I think he's going to be siding with the Syndicate. However, you and Ray made a compelling argument. If that were to happen, Alexander could go with the demand. Syndicate's already established, right?
Yeah.
So I think growing that faction, and then to what you were saying, going in that direction of getting all the gold, that may be something that could be an interesting wrinkle if, the reports are true that Cedric Alexander, his contract's over with TNA, and then he decides to go with AEW. So, but I'm still sticking with my pick. I think, with that being said, the Syndicate wins. But I can't wait to find out what actually happens. This is going to be a very intriguing match.
Well, you bringing up Cedric Alexander kind of intrigues me in this one regard. What if the Syndicate loses? We do the split, but when we do the split, instead of it just being everybody going their ways for single gold, what if Cedric comes in and then Bobby's going after world gold? Cedric is over here now creating that trios that trio of them who enter Cedric and Ricochet, this all started and comes back to their friendship during the pandemic era, when they were literally working together against the original Hurt Business until Cedric broke, and they broke him. They were trying to break one of them first, and the whole storyline could be, hey, they broke you. They never broke me. I never joined them. And oh, well, that's because we didn't let you join us because you can go however you want to go, but I can see that coming down the line. And you bringing up Cedric, I didn't even think about Cedric, but I like that as a good add-on.
Very interesting.
But we go see what the future holds for the Syndicate and any additional new members, not named MJF, that would be getting added into that group. So, remember that guy? But the AEW TNT Championship coming on the line. Well, I skipped the match. I skipped 2 matches. Let me roll that thing on back, because I actually rather start off with the $500,000 tag team match between Jurassic Express and the Young Bucks. Yo, I'm thinking the broke Bucks. They need that month. They need that check for the month. So hey, they're gonna probably get that dub, because
Jurassic.
I mean, unless we're gonna just let it rain on a dinosaur, I don't really see that really working out for Jurassic Express, in my opinion. So, but Jay, what are you thinking about that?
The Bucks don't need the win, but they sure need the money. You know,
Mhm.
so I think I think it's going to be the Jurassic Express that comes up with the W, only because we're reintroducing them as a team, and we're trying to get the fans to get behind them. It's going to be a great match. I mean, all four of them have great chemistry together. Um, I'm a huge Young Bucks fan. I want them to win. I'm rooting for them, but my mind is telling me it's going to be Jurassic Express. I'm taking the W.
Same.
All right. Oh, Jurassic Express taking the W?
Yes, there. I have Jurassic Express winning.
No, but I'm saying for Ray because he said same.
Yep. I
Okay.
got Jurassic Express running. In the same vein of as Jay. You're bringing these guys back together just for them to lose? Nah. they got to get that done. Just like I think we were mentioning when CNC Wrestling Company came back together. Christian Cage and Cope. There was no way that they were going to lose against the patriarchy. There was no way they were, after just reuniting with each other, at least in my head. And similar thing with Jurassic Express.
I'm gonna go this route. I'm gonna stay 10 toes down because y'all making me wanna flake.
Oh,
But I'm gonna add a little additional thing. I'm gonna
is
go
this
ahead, rope this off screen,
is
bring it
this
on
one
screen.
of is this one of Downtown Brown's long shot picks?
No. But you all have been talking about the result of this match and them winning, and I'm like, okay, that kind of makes sense. And whether it's them, I could see them winning, but the money part is what throws me. So I see the Bucks winning, but I see them having a double turn during this match because Jack Perry just keeps coming off like a heel still. I don't care if we still singing and waving our hands and having the good hullabaloo about it all. Like he feels off to me. He's been off to me in that Reddit post. If you've seen the Reddit post, it talks about, oh, he's really a heel. He's got that knife still. He was cutting up Luchasaurus during the
Maybe
video
that's
package.
just
And all
his
that.
face, Gerard. Maybe that's just the face he gives off.
Well, change your face then. How about that? Change your face. No. Better yet, what? No, I know. All three of us have heard this once before. Fix your face. Hey, fix your face.
Fix your
Fix your face.
Wow.
When they come close, fix your face.
And you gotta say it with your teeth gritted too. You better fix your face.
What you tooting up like that for? What you over there? Scapegoat? What you tooting up like? Fix your face.
Sit down, fix your face, boy.
So that's my statement to that. Fix your face. So, but okay, I'm gonna stand 10 toes down. I still think the Bucks don't get that money back. So, but we go see on Sunday, y'all. With that said, we got the AEW Tag Team Title match. Bandito and Brody King against the Rainmaker, the unified champion, Kazuchika Okada, and the new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, Konosuke Takeshita. Who do y'all have winning? And we're gonna go Ray this time.
All right. I can see I see Brodito retaining, and I think you all alluded to it, especially you alluded to it earlier with your Wrestle Kingdom main event pick, Gerard. I think we'll start to see the dissension between the Alpha and the Rainmaker. We'll start to see the dissension between the two, especially since they're not really that familiar with each other as a tag team. I think Kazuchika was more teaming with within the family with Josh Alexander, or I think Takeshita was. He was teaming more with. They were more of an established tag team together, at least in AEW, where they were trying to kind of come up with one another, as opposed to Kazuchika Okada and Takeshita. So I think you'll kind of see some cracks. You kind of see one person trying to one up the other person. So I think that's what we'll see, and then it'll cost them the championship. So, or at least it'll cost them the opportunity to win the tag championship. So I think Brodito retains.
Okay. Jay, how about you, man?
I see it the same way. I see it as, there's going to be some kind of miscommunication. This is going to be wrestling tropes 101. They're going to start off, they're going to gel together, they're going to mesh really well, everything's going to go good. Then something's going to happen to where they're misaligned and it's going to cause some dissension. And then all of a sudden, they're going to lose their title opportunity. So, and it's going to start planting the seeds for that Wrestle Kingdom match, So I think it's going to be a slower burn. I don't know if they're going to get physical where one just completely turns on the other. I mean, they're in the same Don Callis family, but overall, I think Brodito is going to hold on to the titles. They've been one of the good surprises for 2025, in my opinion. So I think they really struck lightning with this team, and I don't see them losing the titles to Okada and Takeshita.
And also, I think real quick, I think they're very fortunate that injury that Brodito suffered a couple of weeks ago wasn't that major. I believe it was it during the ROH taping or was it doing something else? I think it was during the ROH show that he injured his shoulder, right? So he dislocated his shoulder. So very, very fortunate that at least he was able to kind of recover and get back into this. So we'll see how he performs on, is it Saturday or Sunday, the show?
Saturday.
Well, it's right in front of me. Yes, Saturday.
Looks like it's Saturday at 10 or Saturday 10:18.
So yeah, I could see. I share the same opinion as Jay. But yeah.
Oh, when I said we'll see on Sunday, I mean when we get on the NWA podcast and we all talking together, we'll see on Sunday who was right. I know your show on Saturday. We gonna talk on Sunday. We'll revisit all this on Sunday. I'm for sure. So, but no. With that said, hey, I like being a man on the island because I acknowledge that my idea is coming off very WWE, but it's definitely gonna be the Alpha holding his arm, about to win the match, and once again to piss him off, Okada screws him out the match and gets the dub. But those two, as almost one world title and one world championship. The only way I see them losing is if maybe Bandito gets a pin on Okada. I don't see you beating the newly crowned IWGP World Champion. I really don't see you beating Okada, in all my opinion, but he does lose every occasion. I think those two, beating them for the tag team titles at WrestleDream, carrying those tag team title belts into the Continental Classic, and being on opposite sides of the card as champions, working their way up to the final to face each other, I'm a big fan of that. Mm-hmm. That's where I see that go.
I can see Brody pinning Okada and then that leading to a Continental Championship match down the line. That's reasonable because Okada's lost non-title matches or tag matches before. So I mean that's, but I can see where you're coming from.
Okay, I can see somebody abandoning the other person. I just don't know who it would be. And to your point, I don't think that they would do that to Takeshita, having him take a pinfall, especially just getting crowned the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. So, yeah, I could see, Takeshita just dropping off of the mat. I'm done, walking out on his partner.
Okay. All right, I ain't mad at that. Well, we keeping it in the family because we got the TNT Championship now coming up with a Kyle Fletcher versus Mark Briscoe. Will Mark Briscoe's son be proud of him again, or will his son be disappointed? What are y'all thinking, Jay?
I'm sorry, Junior Briscoe. I apologize, bro. I mean, I love the Briscoes. Your daddy ain't bringing that belt home. He is not.
Real.
Kyle Fletcher is on a roll. He is the next up. I mean, you've got as much as okay, the Don Callis family has a lot of hitters on their team. You've got Okada, who's like creme de la creme. You've got Takeshita, who's just now coming into his own. You got Kyle Fletcher right now, who could be the next man up. He's trying to build a legacy. I think he's going to hold the World Heavyweight Championship within the next 18 months. So I don't think that he's going to lose to a Mark Briscoe right now. It's going to be a competitive match. It's going to be a very entertaining match. I think Briscoe's going to drag him in some deep waters, but you still got Don Callis on the outside. And I think that's going to come into play. I think that's going to come into a factor because you've got the other members of the Don Callis family that's going to cause some kind of distraction because, let's face it, AEW referees are easily distracted. So with that being said, the deck is stacked against Briscoe. I'm sorry. You need more people. Fletcher wins.
All right. How about you, Ray?
I see the same thing happening. And shout out to Mark. Like he's been putting it on, and you want to see him take that next step, especially with him finally getting the monkey off his back with his win over MJF in that tables and tax match. But I think putting him just right in the TNT picture instead of like trying to elevate him into a world title picture or elevate him at least into the not the Continental but the United Championship picture. I think it's kind of like a demotion to me. Even though Kyle is doing his thing, Fletcher is doing his thing, but I see as though you just got this big win over MJF, who was a former world champion, former international champion. Pretty much has done it all. Like you finally get that big W, and now you're going back to the TNT title again. I hate to say that it's like a relegation, but I just want to see them kind of elevate Mark a little bit more. So, but I think it's going to be a big win for Kyle, and I think it's just going to continue to boost him up as well. So I see Kyle getting the victory. It'll be interesting to see what Don Callis' role, because usually he'll be on commentary during those matches. So it'll be interesting to see if he's on commentary for both this match and the previous match we covered, or if he's maybe in somebody's corner on one of the matches and then doing commentary on the other match. And it'll be interesting to see how things play out, where regardless of where he is. So it'll be interesting to see that.
Okay. We are all in agreement on this. Kyle Fletcher's walking out with this dub. Now, I will say this. I'm not opposed to this idea. Just thinking about the future. You know, I'm a future planner. Kyle Fletcher wins this match. We get to the Continental Classic. This is number 5 for those two. They'll have a number 6 in the Continental. That's where I think Mark Briscoe gets that dub over Kyle. Maybe at a World's End then. He gets that TNT championship finally at the end of the year. Kyle Fletcher getting to do some more matches, have a hot little run between now and December, toss that belt off on I think it's the 27th. That might be the next show I go to. But toss that belt off on the 27th. And then I think he's looking at that unified championship to get it back for the family from Takeshita. Because I think the reason why Takeshita can walk into Wrestle Kingdom and drop a belt and be cool, because he's going to have the belt from Okada because he beat him in the final at World's End as well. So, but I think eventually down the line, Kyle Fletcher is going to go for that unified title. I think there's just such a log jam at the world title scene right now for AEW of just people who need to get that belt first before Kyle. A Bobby Lashley, like where is he at? A Swerve for his second run once he comes back. A Will Ospreay he comes back. MJF, a Darby Allin. There's such a log jam for world title. I don't want to force him in there if he's not at that level, but to get him something of that level and of that ilk, that unified title could be a good thing to get him up to that next level. That when he does get that world championship, he will then have been moved up probably to the crown jewel of the Don Callis family. So, but my thoughts, just saying something. But I like all of our picks because we're all in agreement. Hey, that belt ain't going to the Briscoes. But with that said, Briscoe don't quit. But somebody got to quit. Somebody has got to say the words, I quit. And my question to you all on top of that is, we saw it last year at Double or Nothing with Mr. Scapegoat himself being lit on fire. Will somebody in this match be lit on fire?
Oh.
And what is going to take to get somebody to say I quit between the man who can climb a mountain and the man who can make a mountain out of anything, John Moxley? So, which one are we doing? Yeah.
All right, I guess I'll go up on this one. I got Darby, man. I've been saying this since they've been going against each other. Darby has to get a dub one of these days, just like we were talking about with Mark Briscoe and MJF. Darby has to come out on top one of these days. I thought he was going to come out on top in the coffin match. Obviously, that didn't happen with the return to Pac. He's got to get a dub, man. And I think it was interesting with the little the vignette that they both had this past Wednesday, where John Moxley was saying, "Hey, this is like a rigged proposition in both ways because neither one of us are going to quit." But John Moxley tapped at All Out, or All In rather. So in effect, he did quit once, and when all of his weapons are taken out of the way, we've seen him cower, and we've seen him finally give up sometimes. So I think Darby's going to win. Does someone get set on fire? Well, we saw Darby set John Moxley on fire right after their I Quit match. So
match?
Yeah, after the coffin. Yeah. I don't know why I get it mixed up. But yeah, after the coffin match at All Out, we saw he still got set on fire. So I can see him getting set on fire. Maybe that's probably the thing that gets him to quit, when Darby has that flamethrower in his hand and he's not in the bag and it's actually straight up flames on skin. Maybe that gets him to quit.
Okay. Jay, how about you? Who's going to say I quit?
I legit flipped a coin. I legit flipped a coin. I think it's going to be a very entertaining match. I don't know if someone's going to say I quit or someone's going to be incapacitated to where they can't even respond. And with my coin flip, I have John Moxley winning. He's going to incapacitate Darby to where it's either the bulldog choke where he can't respond to say I quit. It's going to be one of those things. And for my DraftKings question, is someone going to be lit on fire? I think somebody's probably going to be attempted to be lit on fire. I just don't see. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be lit on fire or not. I think that there's going to be an attempted arson.
That's crazy.
That's a good pull. I got Moxley winning, man. It's going to be a very violent, entertaining match. And somebody's going to be taken out and knocked out cold. And they're not going to say I quit. They're just going to stop the match.
Oh, you're taking the intrigue out. I could see, like I said, I could see Moxley saying I quit. I don't see Darby saying I quit at all.
The man climbed the mountain. I think because of that, you might be able to kill him physically, but he will always have this never say die attitude. And that's why it's got to be Darby for the win in this one for me.
Yeah.
John Moxley, it is just not. I'm good, homie. You need to take a break. Stay off the weed.
We still talking about his
It's done,
fishing
son.
trip.
Go fishing. Actually do it this time.
Right.
I'm good, man. Like I think the narrative of this match is 2 years ago. 2 years ago, Revolution. Tap to Hangman. Real quick after being hung.
Mm-hmm.
All in Texas, live and in living color. Same finish. Thrown over that rope, hung. He hung in there a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
So he has been proven to be a man who, when the going gets tough, he gets McGregorish. So with that,
McGregorish.
Hey, I'm just saying. Hey, I used to be a fan. I'm not a fan no more, but that's just what it is now. But he gets McGregorish. Like I said, he starts to tap. So with that, I think whether it's I'm about to set you on fire, I quit. And I set you on fire anyway, or however they gonna do it. Darby got to get that dub because I think Darby versus Hangman could easily be a match we're seeing down the line. Because I could easily see then here comes Mr. NJF running back into the scene. Darby, I got my contract. I can beat you. I can't beat Hangman. So easily can see him dodging one to get to the other. And then once MJF gets that belt, we heard people. We heard people. We heard people. Somebody about to die. But
Okay.
with that said, hey, that's what I'm saying. Darby got to win. Because we got to start that bill for his world title reign. And the thing is, Moxley was the one in the first place to tell him you'll never be it. So he's got to get that coffin win, that nail in the coffin for shutting John Moxley out, shutting him down. And I quit. That's even worse than a tap. In jiu-jitsu, they tell you to tap so that way you can train the next day. Ain't nothing wrong with tapping, but you got to say the words, I quit. That's a different psychological and moral battle that I think Darby can win over him and have a staple win that nobody else in that company has over him. I'm not mad at that. So,
and real quick, let me follow up on that. With that being said, if he does say the words "I quit," could that be the beginning of the end of the Death Riders? Could that be Claudio and Wheeler and Pax saying that we did all this for you and then you just gave up? You just said I quit. We supposed to ride or die, and you just could that be like the seeds of dissension being thrown, starting to be thrown, or so?
I want to say yes, but then I thought about it. What if and it's hard to see Moxley in that role, but what if this is a time for somebody to usurp him in the group?
Right, that's
Maybe
what I'm saying.
Of like not the group fully disbanding, but like but somebody new being anointed. And I wouldn't be mad if it's the next person we're gonna talk about in Chris Statlander versus Tony Storm. Because I know she went and did the double birds to him. She did the double birds to him. She's now broken blood with them in a tag team match with Marina Shafir and oh my god, Wheeler Yuta doing the bangs in front of my face. You can't see his face, so he want to beat John Cena so badly. But they've already broken blood in those different ways. John, she doesn't want to join up with them. She thought about it, but she sees the cracks in John. She takes over. There's a new skin. Ladies, you got Ray Paquette coming in here.
I didn't know you could
joining
hear
us on Ring
the audio. My bad.
No, you good. But I can see Chris taking that role because I like the compelling nature of her possibly being a heel. And I think that's something that her world title reign can benefit from. And so when the going gets tough in this 1v1 match, I do see some Death Rider interference. I think it comes down to that. And then I think a CEO might be coming to pick the bones of Tony Storm. Because she's announced to show up, but she doesn't have a match. I think she'll show up at the end of this match. And I don't think she's going after the world title because of the Death Rider influence around it. But I think she's pissed off with Tony and she needs to get some revenge before she moves on to get the world title. She's more focused on going after Tony. So I'm going with Chris for the win. And I'm going with Chris to take over the Death Riders as well. To answer your question.
That's interesting.
But Jay, what are you thinking?
I think for this match, Statlander's got to win. This is her first title defense. I think that oh man, I think it's going to be one of those matches where the build to it has been kind of lackluster, but I think that at the end of the day, the in-ring product that we're going to see is going to be phenomenal. And I do think we see an edgier Chris Statlander. And I think that she does need that kind of a darker edge to her, to where she's going to start being infiltrated and listening more and more to a Wheeler Yuta. We've seen her use Wheeler Yuta's finishing move several times already. So I think those seeds have been planted, and now we're starting to see the germinization of those seeds, and it's starting to bloom a little bit. So we're going to start seeing a little bit darker edge of her. And I'm cool with that. I like that. I'm interested to see what's next for Toni Storm now that she says that she can't, she doesn't have an identity without the world title, and what the story they're going to tell with her without it now, especially after a potential loss this Saturday night.
Yeah,
I like it.
I can agree. I'll agree with that. I see Statlander coming out with the dub as well. As far as your point with her usurping Jon Moxley, first off, that'll be interesting to see, because if she usurps him, but he's still in the group, like is he kind of like now giving credence, or kind of like allowing her to be in at the top position and being willing to support her and the rest of the squad? Is he going to be seething now that pretty much everyone else, like a Yuta and Marina, have now kind of latched on more towards Chris? Is there going to be some resentment there? That will be very intriguing. That'll be I would definitely like to see how that comes into fruition. But yeah, as far as the match, what more is there to do for timeless Toni Storm? She's done just about everything. So I think Chris Statlander can go ahead and get this win. As I like where you're going as far as what is her personality beyond the title, as far as with Chris Statlander. We've seen her kind of work as a heel against Willow. It was some things here, some things there, some things clicked, some things didn't click so much. But I think now that you're seeing her fully fleshed, I think back then she was just trying to play heel, but with being with the Death Riders now, you could kind of see some conflict in her eyes. You could kind of see her. You see her more as a three-dimensional person, and kind of mulling things over and not really wanting to cross that line, but also still taking advice from a Wheeler Yuta and using like the mouse, well, not the mousetrap pin, but the that pinning combination that he uses. So yeah, I think it'll be really intriguing to see that development as far as will she or won't she, and it'll kind of be because you already got Daniel Garcia in that group now too. So now you're plugging in Chris, and now Chris is going to pretty much head the group. So then what's going to be going on with Daniel Garcia? So yeah, I would like to see that play out.
Well, that's interesting too, because you brought up Marina Shafir. So if you're gonna put like a Chris Statlander at the lead position, what does that do to her? I mean, where are you gonna put her? She's been down with the group since day one, right?
Right.
So you have to take her into consideration, because I think with what she brings to Jon Moxley's presentation is super unique. I mean, we haven't seen like a female enforcer to that degree since a Beth Phoenix or even a China at this point, right? So I would like to see. It would be a very interesting story, because I mean, you're right. You got Daniel Garcia, who's new. You got a Chris Statlander, who's potentially, if she goes to the group, would be new. And then you got the OGs. You got the Pac. You got Claudio. Does it become a completely different type of Death Riders? What happens with it? That's a great story, and I'd be interested to see that story unfold as well.
I like it. What I would love to see the end of the story be is if it goes Chris with Death Riders, end it with Willow beating Chris to break Chris out of this whole this mode, and her being like, I hate to steal from it, but like Willow does her own go find yourself type moment with Chris. And then that helps to then bring Chris out of her own Death Rider phase. But hey, just like you had Marina Shafir cover John's back, I could easily see her dragging Wheeler around to have her back.
I can see that
forcing
too.
him to be her young boy, or whatever you want to call her muscle, if you will, primary for each match. So
I can
he
see
can be
that.
the one giving her tips or whatever. Oh yeah, seatbelt. Oh, this move. Hey, she's privy on this side. So I'd like to see that. But we'll see what the future is. We'll know by Sunday if it's going to be or not. I'm crossing my fingers and I'm not just swinging for the fences on this one. But talking about swinging for the fences and just trying to shoot your shot. Oh, you dropped my belt? Give me a title match. In the building where this man last year in April lost the world title and has not had a rematch since, he is now taking himself back to St. Louis with his ops to go get the world title. We're talking about Samoa Joe versus the AEW world champion, Hangman Adam Page. Nice. With that being said, I think this is here to shore up that revolution triple threat from last year as well. That where Joe was able to beat Swerve and Hangman, and he beat Hangman in that match to retain that belt.
Yep.
You good, Jack?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Thank you. But with that said, I'm gonna go with Hangman on Page. I think it's just I think this is here to help him get that win, help him establish himself, and keep him down this line as a world champion. They had some good promos leading up to it. I think this is just a good feud to help him get a win back from the past. So, I got Hangman for the win. Ray, how about you, man?
I second that. I think we saw they had a great face-to-face a couple weeks ago, or last week rather, where Hangman acknowledged him tapping out. But I think we've seen the transition of Hangman, of the character of Hangman Adam Page, and we know that was pretty much just a different man. We know that he tapped out under shady circumstances, knowing that his again, with that being in that triple threat match with him, Joe, and Swerve Strickland, again, him probably tapping so that Swerve didn't get another opportunity to win the championship at that particular moment, or get an opportunity, because I believe that was before before Swerve won it for the first time. So I do see him with this transition of his character back to a more grounded, but also a more grizzled baby face who acknowledges his faults. And he's mentioned, you tapped me then, but I'm not going to tap again. So would that be Joe choking him to sleep and then winning anyway? I don't think so. I think Hangman's going to get the dub in this one.
How about you, Jay?
I think Hangman wins as well. Even though I am a huge Samoa Joe fan, I followed this guy's career for quite some time, and I would love to see him choke out the Hangman. Nothing personal. It's just, I just like to go better. But all kidding aside, I think Hangman needs this win. I think this has to be one of his staple wins for his second title reign to set up, other matches that are to come down the future in the future. I think Joe's going to give him a great match. I think it's going to be very competitive. I just see it as Hangman having to defend his first title defense, if I'm not mistaken, in this reign anyway. So I think Joe is going to drag him into deep water, and Hangman comes out on top.
And real quick, over and under, over and under, we see at least one AJ Styles move done by Samoa Joe or by Hangman, because they kind of honoring each other and tributing each other. So do we see like a Styles clash from Samoa Joe? We're definitely not going to see a spiral tap. I would love to see Joe do a spiral tap. Oh God,
no. I was like, can he do the backwards DDT? And I'm like, nah. Can he do a phenomenal forearm? I'm like, nah.
Yeah, those knees.
Styles Clash might be the one that genuinely might. I was like, can he do a Pele kick? Nah.
Yeah, I was gonna say Pele kick before anything else.
Well, hey, that's a backdrop. Just got to throw that leg up there. I'm sure Joe can get that leg up there.
He's done it in the corner before. Throw him in the turnbuckle. That Pele kick.
That's his move in the corner. Yeah. So I can see that. Or maybe a calf crusher. He is the Samoan submission machine. So
okay.
Crusher would be a solid one. Didn't even think about that. Calf slicer, if you will, back in the day.
Yes.
Calf killer back in the day. That was the initial name, the calf killer.
Yeah.
And they're like, we can't have you call it that WWE killer.
Yeah.
Killer. So, but with that said, Jay, how about you? No. Did everybody put their predictions out real quick?
Yep.
Okay.
We're unanimous with Hangman.
We all in agreement. I ain't want to make sure.
Hangman James Storm.
Hangman James Storm. Cowboy. Here and cowboy shit. So, but with that said, we're going to move on to the main event of this evening. And so we had talked about it just like back in 2018 of November of 2018. UFC and One Championship had a legendary trade where they swapped Demetrius Johnson and Ben Askren across for each other. Something you haven't even really seen since. Well, we're going to do that kind of transfer window, but between AEW and WWE. We got 5 stars, 5 units, if you will, going across. So what I mean by a unit could be a superstar, that could be a tag team. I'm even allowing factions in this. So whenever you send it across the way, just make sure it's equal either way. And so we're going to kick off with WWE going to AEW. Jay, how you feeling up for first to bat?
All right. The first team, I'm actually going to spoil it. The first tag team I'm sending across are the Street Profits. Okay. And here's the reason why. You've got Montez Ford, who is a breakout star in the making. You've seen what AEW has done for Swerve Strickland. He's had a world title run. I think Angelo Dawkins has the potential of being another type of single star world championship potential, possibly. I mean, he's shown good improvement for the last 2 to 3 years already. But I think seeing what the Street Profits can do, especially against the likes of like the Hurt Syndicate, especially like against the Demand, Brodito, all these other good teams. I mean, I would love and I would be intrigued to see exactly what they could do. If Dawkins were to go off into a single run, now you've got Ring of Honor. He could play in that sandbox for a while. Ford can do his own thing in AEW proper. There's just a lot of different matchups that you could see across the board that I would love to see with those two individuals, either as a team or individually. So I would send the Street Profits, and that's going to be my number one.
Okay. What's your remaining 5?
Okay, so another one I would like to see, Bailey. I think there's a lot that can be done with her as well too. She's pretty much done everything in WWE, so sending her across the way to AEW, seeing the run that Mercedes Moné has been on. And that's the cool thing is like when you go to AEW, you can actually do some other independents as well too. So you got Bailey that can go to Ring of Honor. She can go do AEW. You could send her across to Japan and she can have some bangers out there, so the sky's the limit in terms of what the potential could be for a run with Bailey. So I would love to see that. Shoot, you can have her against Athena. Run that. You know what I mean? That would be crazy, right? The third person I would send, and this will almost happen, Randy Orton. And see what Randy Orton could do against some of the younger talent on the roster. We talked about a Darby Allin against a Randy Orton, and unleashing Randy Orton to be a more sinister version of Randy Orton. Because I mean, you got some handcuffs when you're in the WWE. Of course, you got some things that you can't do. But I mean, if you got Hangman setting someone's house on fire, and Randy Orton already set somebody's shack on fire, imagine what this dude unhinged could do. He could really do some work and be really, really sinister and creative. So I would send him across. I'm gonna send this as a caveat. I know Kevin Owens is hurt, but I would love to see him over in AEW healthy. I mean, he's already good friends with the Bucks, and the stories that can be told between them and the Elite and everything else that he's already got the established relationship with Claudio. That would be amazing to see, but he's on the shelf. He's hurt, so that's probably not going to be welcome type of thing. And my fifth one, oh my gosh, I had a tie. I pulled my Nate Milton card, so it's a tie. So initially I was like, you know what, company man Miz, let's see what you can really do. I would love to see and be intrigued what a Miz can do, because he brings the name brand of like what the WWE is. He's always going on these different shows. He's always, going to these different events and, hyping up the WWE. Let's see what he could do with what he could do with a AEW. They've got the machine with the Time Warner, and there's a lot of reach that can be done across those platforms. So that would be pretty interesting from a business aspect. In ring, but he does have some credibility, because before WWE, he was wrestling independent. So giving him some fresh matchups would be great. But the tiebreaker was a Seth Rollins. Telling the story, because I mean, you've done everything you could with the Roman Reigns story. Let's go on the other side and play in that sandbox with John Moxley. You've got some history. You can entertain that history, So I think those are the 5 entities I would send across to AEW from WWE.
Okay, I like your list. I'm liking the Street Profits on there. Seeing bigger, better for them. We can kick off with a better theme song for Bailey off rip, and it's already gonna be a better run.
100%.
So we can do. I can't get jiggy to that song. Randy, you giving me that in the Ruthless Aggression era, Randy, and I like that. I suffer from You remember that promo? He was like, I can't think of the illness he was suffering from. He was like, when I just happened to snap and I see red. I suffer from, it was on the lead up to WrestleMania 25. It was like it had a whole acronym and everything. It was like DTR. Like, I suffer from this. So
I know
yeah,
what you're talking about. Yeah.
you give me that good Randy. I like that. And it would be nice to see Tyler Black out there doing something different besides
Mm.
in WWE. So I like your list, man. I really do. Ray, who you transferring across, man?
All right. So my list is more. I think Jay has a couple of guys who are big main eventers already, and so my list is more of kind of like you have a couple people who are established already, but you also have some people who I feel are like blue chippers who either haven't gotten their just due just yet, or they're working their way up. So I'll go to my list. So first off, I'm going to start with a tag team as well. So I have, let me see. Here we go. I have the New Day. I know they just recently, they both just recently signed new contracts, but I think they're in a similar place as the Street Profits. They've done all you can do. They've had the longest reign. They had a whole bunch of reigns. I think the thing with Big E hasn't worked out. It's only so much you can do when the person who you have the most heat for isn't on the program from week to week. So, and then so I think you could really breathe a lot of fresh air into them if they go over to AEW. I'm gonna try to make this quick because we're coming up on our time limit draw, fellas. Next one, and I'm sure Brother Nate is going to be able to move along with this particular pick. I'm choosing his Caramel Queen, Nia Jax. And I don't think you can confuse. I think you do need some more powerhouses over there in AEW, and it'll be hard to confuse Nia with Nyla, with Nyla Rose, because Nyla Rose has gone off to the upside down world where Dr. Britt Baker is, so we don't know where she is. So it'll be hard to confuse those two. But I think Nia Jax, we've seen the improvement that she's had throughout her most recent run with WWE, and I think she can only get better. Next is going to be a brother who I feel, and I'm pretty sure you guys agree with me as well, hasn't gotten his just due with him being called up. He's kind of been stranded with an aforementioned A-lister, and I'm going to go with Carmelo Hayes. Let's ship that brother over. Again, unleashing the full potential that brother. Can you imagine the matches that brother can have with the likes of a Ricochet or a Jungle Boy Jack Perry, or him being in a tag team against the Young Bucks? I would love to see what that brother can do. Hey, maybe even taking Cedric's spot in the Hurt business or the Hurt Syndicate. You never know. All right. Then I'm sending another established woman over to AEW. Can possibly be the third Japanese women's world champion alongside Hikaru Shida and Riho. And I'm talking about the Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka. I believe she still hasn't gotten her just due, even though she has done pretty much all you can do in WWE. She still hasn't gotten her just due. I think she's doing great work right now. I think AEW pushes Japanese women pretty well, and I think she can let loose on AEW as well. And then my last pick for a WWE talent going over to AEW. We had this brother. He's been all the talk of the town at NXT. Let's talk about it. We had Trick and A for a little while. Maybe we can get A.E. Willie. Ooh, that don't sound right.
You should have workshopped that one a little bit more, bro.
I know. That sounds just as bad as Ricky Superdome.
Oh, man.
I'm gonna go with Trick Williams. And again, who knows if Carmelo and Trick go over to AEW? Maybe Trick Mello gang get back together, go after those tag titles. That would be an interesting spot to see. And I would love to see Trick Williams go after in the world title picture, possibly Trick Williams versus Swerve Strickland. That would be a match that I'd be interested in seeing. Trick Williams versus a Will Ospreay. That would be a match that I'm interested in seeing. Yeah, those are my 5.
Okay. So I'm a big fan. I like you taking Trick and Mello back over there as well. I like those picks. I don't know how Nate gonna feel about her being off of WWE television on the TNT and TBS, but we gonna see how you feel about Nia Jax, because I feel like she has kind of ran her gambit in WWE at this point. So she needs some refreshing. And like I talked about earlier, I need to see my girl Asuka winning. And so if she don't do it over there, like you said, they treat them right. I'd love to see them treat her right and give her a reestablishing as a dominant force in the world championship. So I like your picks. For me, I'm gonna do mine. I'm gonna mirror my picks in the same way of the 05. Nope. Am I right? In the year? Yeah, 05 year of the draft. And so we're gonna kick off, starting everything off with my initial tag team. And you might be like, they're not a tag team right now. In due time, because the Judgment Day has to end. And so because of that, Finn Balor and AJ Styles gonna form a tag team, because that looks a lot better to me than Dragon Lee. So we have no association together, but cool. We just happen to work together as a team decently. But no, we're gonna do Finn Balor and AJ Styles being transferred over there, because I want to have what happened in that match with Cena? The undisputed leader of the Bullet Club. Cool. It's time to have the fatal 4-way match to determine that.
Called him a boss.
It's time to have the match to determine who is Big Boss. Balor, Prince Devitt under the initial title. King Devitt, whatever you want to upgrade him to now, but Prince Devitt. You're going to have walking in there AJ Styles. You're going to have there Kenny Omega, and you're going to have there Jay White. Fatal 4-way that must happen.
Okay.
That is the Bullet Club Big Boss match that I need to see. I don't care about Evil. We're not bringing Evil over here.
Jeff
Gone with that. Good. You need to leave. For real. You need to leave. Get that all up out of here. I don't know why you said double J anything up in here.
Hey, if there's a pot to be stirred, I got the spoon. You know what I
mean? But with that, I'm going to go. I want them to both have these matches with. I want to see a Kenny AJ match. I want to see a Finn Balor Okada match again, because they wrestled in New Japan years ago. That was one of the matches that got me in New Japan. I want to see that again. I want to see Pac against these people. I want to see these people, Pac and AJ Styles. Come on, man! Like that sounds so much fun to me. Like that's what I want. Like I need those type of matches. So send them on over there. I want to then grow some talent, and I think some people have kind of stagnated. So I want to send Pete Dunne on over there. Get him out of a mask because he's a luchador. Let's go ahead and send him on over to AEW. But, and you might think, oh, you're so disrespectful, Gerard. Nah, he's going to ROH, and he's going to work his way up the ROH card to getting that world title.
I could see him as a pure champion.
Starting off with a pure championship. Working his way up there and having these compelling, great showcases to help not only build ROH, but also keep his name on on AEW television. So we like all that. I think I see Xavier Woods and a Kofi Kingston, the New Day, coming on over here. But I see it in a different way of not a tag team, but like we said, you couldn't get the crown and you ain't never been no singles champion. In the same way that MVP wrestles but manages, Kofi, I think, is going to start to pull back and support his brother in his quest of him bouncing back and forth between AEW and ROH. I think Xavier gets that ROH title a lot faster and sooner than a Pete Dunne. I think he jumps to that and he's dueling back and forth between that and AEW to work his way up to maybe a unified belt, maybe even in maybe 4 years towards the tail end of the deal. He gets that world title ring with the AEW belt. But I think it's time to send them over there to get a different look and just a different feel. I gotta bring somebody over here to shift and change the game for the women. And though I cannot stand her when she gets a world title around her waist, Charlotte Flair can actually do a lot of good to help grow the women's division and the women's talent. Not only in ROH, and I'm not saying send her to ROH, but she's going to be working with women all across the board, backstage and on camera, to help grow those divisions. You put a Charlotte Flair and a Monet in there to sharpen both sides of the division, your women's division is going to be greater than ever. So, and Charlotte Flair can then get a different look. And you know when she gets that AEW Women's World Championship, the heat, as they love to say, it's going to be through the roof. So let her go ahead and do that. And also let Charlotte start off with that TBS title. Because her father, I believe, has had a TV title reign before. So, once again, if we follow in Father's footsteps, Father used to be on Turner Broadcast Networks. It's time for you to jump onto them as well. So, join up. And then my last pick, I need a tag team that's going to really light that scene on fire and stay a tag team in the scene. And that's my War Raiders, because I ain't really seen them do nothing besides turkey legs, have some mediocre title reigns, and not do much of nothing since NXT. So I need them to go light that world on fire as War Machine again in AEW. No more raiding. It's time to become a machine. Those are my 5 units going from WWE to AEW. So, but now we're going to switch over to folks from AEW going to WWE. Ray, you feel good to go up to bat with this, or do we need to let Jay run the same order again?
Oh, I could go up to bat for this one. I think I got all my 5. It's interesting that you mentioned the War Raiders, because then they'll be returning back. If you have them going back to ROH, then it's kind of like they'll be returning back home, so to say. But I mean, they have been, like, both of them in various stages of their WWE career have been hurt and possibly on the brink of not even wrestling anymore. So I'm glad to see that they're still around. But yeah, I would love to see them kind of freshen up their act a little bit as well. But going on to my 5 who are transferring from AEW to WWE. Since I started my prior list with a tag team, I'm going to start this one with a tag team, and we're going to go with Jet Speed. Jet Speed, I think you have them possibly come up through NXT and then be like a house of fire going into the WWE main roster. I think if you split these guys apart, I think that they can make names for themselves as well. I think the only reason I'm sending them to NXT is because of Kevin Knight. I think while he is talented, I think that he still has some things to work on. I think they both have some things to work on as far as not only a team, but as far as keeping things crisp. We kind of saw when they had a tag match with the Hurt Syndicate, how things kind of fell apart a little bit between them and with their communication with Shelton Benjamin. So I think that they can go into NXT for maybe about 6 to 8 months or so, kind of hone in. They have the pure talent. It's just that they got to hone in those things with the communication and also with getting that style across on WWE television. And then I think you can boost them up to to the main roster. I would love to see them as a part of the SmackDown tag division. I mean, Wyatt 6 notwithstanding, but I would love to see those guys against was it Fraxium. I would love to see those guys against a DIY, I should say. I would love to see those guys. I'm about to call them DEI. I don't think
Is that a new tag team? These girls don't belong here.
I know. Right? TKO be like, hey, we got rid of that. We got rid of that initiative a long time ago.
We don't see color over here.
And I can see Just Be against the Street Profits. So I think they could. I think SmackDown, out of the both brands, I think SmackDown does have the freshest tag division. I mean, if you want to send them over to Raw to kind of jolt that tag division up a little bit, you could. But yeah, I would love to see them go over to SmackDown from NXT. So Jet Speed. I mentioned ladies who can swap over. So when I mentioned Nia Jax being a powerhouse, I think it's only right that you send over a powerhouse who isn't always mean mugging like a Nia Jax, even though I think Nate might like his women mean, but she could be mean. This woman who's coming over to WWE, she could be mean, but she could smile anyway. I'm talking about Willow Nightingale, bringing over Willow Nightingale again. Maybe have her start out maybe have like a cup of coffee in NXT, like a Stephanie Vaquero, like a Julia, because again, she has everything that she needs, and she has the charisma as well. I think she can sell a bunch of merchandise as well. So as a baby face. We don't really have a lot of like white meat baby faces in WWE's women's division right now. You have girls other than Io. I think Io is the only one who's like straight up like nice and smiley all the time. Like you do see layers from her a bit, but everyone else is kind of like brooding and kind of like an anti-hero, like a Rhea Ripley. Like you see her smile every now and then, but she's more like brooding and bruising and beating people down. Like Tiffany Stratton, she's kind of a baby face every now and then, but then she talk about your marriages and then have her wanting to break her face. And so and then a Jade Cargill, like she again, she's like not an anti-hero, but it's like she's like this powerhouse, and she's like a bad bee. I don't know if I can say that. I know she said it plenty of times. So, but I think you can bring over Willow as like that girl who, when all odds are against her, she's going to keep trying her best, and she's not going to be brought down by other people, and she's going to keep smiling anyway. So and she's going to have the crowd behind her every step of the way. So they bring over Willow. All right, and then let me go ahead and check out my list. I'll go over to a second woman that I'm bringing over, and I believe Jay, you mentioned bringing Bailey over and having a possible match with a certain somebody in AEW. Well, I'm a flip Uno reverse card. Okay. Keep Bailey in WWE and bring over this woman with her minion. I'm talking about bring over her head minion in charge. I'm talking about Athena, the minion overlord, alongside with Billy Starks. So, or they might call her Billy Saints. Who knows? I guess something against Starks. I don't know what it is. But I could see Athena going over and finally, like, it's kind of like she's making a return, but we're not talking about Ember Moon. We ain't talking about no doggone werewolf coming back with her eyes changed. We talking about the minion overlord coming and ruling over WWE. I think like having her in that women's division and kind of like reintroducing her with the fans and kind of making her seem as a big deal would be tremendous. So I could see Athena alongside Billy Starks going over, and you can have them as a tag team. You can have Billy Starks turning her back and then turning her back on Athena and then trying to progress up the ladder. So many possibilities that you can have with those two. All right. Two more. Let me see. Where do I have my list? Next man up. I'm going to go with a brother who recently became a Death Rider, but he gonna be riding off in the sunset. I'm talking about Red Death, Daniel Garcia, Buffalo Stabler. I know that he had an opportunity in NXT before, but I think you could really like get the machine behind him. I think he's cooled off a lot since he won the TNT championship over Adam Cole. So I think in a similar vein as Carmelo, when I mentioned earlier, is like you can reintroduce him to a new fan base and you can kind of get the machine behind them and boost them up in that aspect as well. So Daniel Garcia. And then my last pick, just like I mentioned, a blue chipper in Trick Williams going over to AEW. I'm going to mention another blue chipper who recently became the New Japan or IWGP heavyweight champion of the world. I'm talking about the Alpha Konosuke Takeshita coming over and making a name right away. I ain't gonna be like Triple H or Vince McMahon and be like, well, let's just go ahead and put him with a with another Japanese dude. How about Shinsuke Nakamura? Let's make a tag team. I ain't doing that. I'm thrusting him right into like a title picture. Maybe have the lights go out and then him, once the lights come back on, he's standing across the way from, let's say, a Cody Rhodes. And it just him just staring daggers into him. And so I think you could really push that, especially after the year that he's been having. I'm definitely I would definitely love to see how they can make that man into even a even more bigger deal within the WWE. So those are my 5 picks transferring over from AEW to WWE.
Okay. I like that. Especially, I like the Jet Speed edition for a young tag team on SmackDown. You sending my wifey over to WWE, so I ain't gonna matter. Oh my God. Willow Nightingale going over there. You got me. I'm selling. DG, yeah, he's cooled off since resigning. Because when he resigned, he was at a hot fever pitch. And yeah, after that TNT title run, it's kind of just been downhill. I don't really know where he's going. So yeah, I think a change in NXT and just going over to a whole new brand could just freshen him up. And I like your Athena and your Takeshita takes as well, man. So no, we rocking with that. Jay, who are you sending from AEW to WWE?
It's a controversial pick here. I think that this person over here, this masked individual, has been a staple for AEW, and that's Excalibur. I'm totally kidding. Not doing
it. I didn't even think about
it. I really thought about it because he's a wrestling genius, and I would love to hear him in a WWE like a production type of environment and see what he could do, what he would be able to get away with, and what he really wouldn't be able to. But that's what my sleeper ones. I was like, nah, I'm not going to do that. But my first one, Hikaru Shida. I think that she would be, I mean, introducing her along with the Kabuki Warriors and
there you go.
There's all kinds of different stories that can be told with that. I mean, she's already won AEW Gold, and bringing her over to as a former champion over to the AEW side, not AEW, the NXT side, and just having her have those matches with those ladies, and then going over with to Rhea Ripley, and then going over to SmackDown to tangle up with Tiffy Time. I mean, Julia, there's so many other different matchups that can be done with that. It would be incredible to see what how that women's division would, the different matchups that can be done with that. So that's my first pick. The second one, Kenny Omega. I want to see the matchup between him and Xavier Woods. There's so many different things that can be done with that, just on that level where they can either be a tag team, be frenemies. I mean, we've seen it how many times in WWE with that they've run that truck to death, so seeing that done. Kenny Omega, he was in OVW at one time, and seeing how his career has turned out, and then going into a WWE environment and seeing how he would be, propelled or showcased on their platform. So I had that as one of my guys to go over from AEW. Another one, MJF.
Yeah.
Seeing the machine, very similar to what like a Miz is for WWE. I think that's what MJF is to AEW, and here's why. He's doing movies now. He can putting the machine behind him with inside of the WWE only broadens his superstardom, so he can become one of the other wrestlers that become a Hollywood player. So I think that's what his trajectory is anyway. He's super talented.
Some say he's the less famous Miz.
That's hilarious. And I think that the matchups that can come from that, because he's the best heel in professional wrestling right now. There's no, I think, in my opinion, fight me up. Another one I would bring over along with Kenny Omega would be the Young Bucks. There's so many different stories that could be told with that too. So
that's 3 VPs right there.
Allegedly. I think those guys, they've been TV ready since AEW started, and to see them on a WWE production or a broadcast, I think, there's so many stories that can be told with that and those guys as well too. So that's that's 4. Fifth one, I'm gonna go with Kyle Fletcher.
Okay.
He's a young gun. I really think that, again, I said before, 18 months from now, he's going to be a world champion. If they were to take him over to an NXT, now you could take him and transfer him over into a TNA as well, too. So there's so many different matchups that can be made with him. And as being as young as he is, getting all that experience that he already has. He's already wrestled in England. He's already wrestled in New Japan. The sky's the limit for that guy, And I think those 5 individuals from AEW could infiltrate WWE and bolster up a roster that's already stacked anyway. So
nice.
I thought about the Bucks, and I thought maybe that would be a really good change for them. But you doing it for me, so hey, we getting them a switch up, and having them and a Cody Rhodes united together.
Yeah.
Gunshot motion he always loves to do. I'm not mad at it. I'm not him having his protege back in his sphere, and MJF. I'm not mad at that. So for the Codyverse, that improves it. To have Omega over there. Come on now. Now we just having the elite. Just what are we doing here? I'm loving what we doing. And then Kyle Fletcher, he is the future that you are growing, and to have him go over to to WWE, it's gonna suck because it's damn near like you did all the prep work. Here's the main chef. I just need you to blow on it, and then now it's a fully cooked meal. So they gonna make him a full main eventer and a star easily over at WWE. I like that. I like your list.
Yeah.
Hikaru Shida, giving her the chance to mix it up with some different folks. Come on, man. How could you not be mad at something like that? Well, for me, I'm sending over from AEW to WWE, and I had to switch up one of mine because I didn't want to be a repeater. So we're gonna start from the one I switched up. I was initially gonna say Athena. I wanted Athena to come over to SmackDown day one. Hey, how you doing, Tiff? Give me that belt, Tiff. Day one. Because that's the way she needs to be treated as a main eventer, as a superstar, as somebody who comes in already at the world title level, winning that belt. There's deeper stories that can be told. But for her to come and do something that she wasn't really doing when she was in WWE, I would love to see Athena do that. Now, since you already said Athena, I picked somebody else because I was like, I wanna grow something. So I'm about to be showing a lot of love to NXT. And so with that being said, Queen Aminata, step up to the plate, girl. Put your crown on your head. It's time that we're going to grow you up in NXT. We're going to let you do the North American thing. We're going to let you also get that NXT world title. We're going to put you on that Ricky Starks plan, that Superdome plan, if you will. So we're going to put you on that, get you cooking, get you rolling, and then when it's time for the main roster, we're going to send you up. But we need some exciting tag teams to keep our show on Tuesday nights going. And so, they're going over to NXT. Jungle Express, yada AEW. You're going to WWE. And I think I send them to NXT and not a SmackDown or Raw initially, being former tag team champions, because when we're bringing them over to WWE, we need a different character. We cannot do Jungle Express, in my humble opinion, because of the sheer fact that it's just too AEW. And unless we're trying to do the Cody thing, which that's one thing with Cody, but Cody was already over here.
Right.
Let's create a new character. Let's get you established, because both you and Luchasaurus, the story could be us walking into NXT and Luchasaurus goes, I'm back. I am tough enough. And I'm back. I'm tired of being a dinosaur. I'm here to get mine with my homie. Shawn and Diesel. But you got to work your way there to build that up between the two of them on NXT. They also could use a buddy tag team over there to put some exciting matches on for a little bit to easily be then just promote it. I want them, because I think if we would have sent the machine guns to NXT first and then SmackDown, I don't know why, but I think it would have been better for them overall, just crowd engagement wise. And so that's why I'm going to send Private Party and NXT to kind of get some crowd familiarity. And we're going to send them up to SmackDown to help that tag division. So Private Party going down to NXT as well. But I'm giving a lot of love to NXT. That's why I'm going to send the Death Riders. But not all. Only Mox, Claudio, Pac. All three of them are going to WWE.
Mox,
because
Claudio,
I already got my
who?
and Pac.
Oh, okay.
I already got my AJ Pac match. We already had that happen. Just like in 05, that Vengeance pay-per-view that happened, we had 2 world title matches on it back then when they didn't have that.
Oh,
You had Batista defending his belt in that Hell in a Cell, and you had John in a triple threat with Jericho and Christian. So in that same way, on that same pay-per-view, that's going to be that 4-way for that big boss match. Devitt's going to become King Devitt in that match. From Prince to a King, because he's taking the King crown from King Switch, because King Switch will be switching brands and going from AEW to Raw, where he should have been in the first place. Because when the whole rumors of, WrestleMania 39, he's going to pop up after the Raw after WrestleMania, I literally bought a ticket to the Staples Center just so I could see that man debut. And what did I get? One of the most trash-ass Raw after WrestleMania episodes I've ever seen in my life for my first WrestleMania weekend. So yeah, I'd rather see him go over there and mix it up with the U.S. title, work his way up just like he did in New Japan, work his way up to that World Heavyweight Championship because I think he looked good with that. This with King Switch, I can see him with his drip doing this belt. So I like this belt a lot more than the WWE belt anyway. So I'm always gonna push people to win that belt. So I'm going. My last pick is gonna be Jay White coming from AEW on over to WWE. So Jungle Express, Queen Aminata, Private Party, Jay White, Death Riders. That's my 5 unit. That's my transfer.
That's pretty dope, man. But the matchup you didn't say that I'm really looking forward to would be Jack Perry versus CM Punk. We gotta see not the closed circuit version of it. We want to see in HD. I want to see that match. Book that.
If you could book a 6-man tag,
real glad. Crimea River.
Crimea River. I love it. We could get a 6-man tag. Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, and Jack Perry. The Haters United. against Phillip Brooks and whoever he could have. I don't know who would be on his team for that. Cody, maybe, whoever you want to throw on that team, but I would love to see that. That'd be a funny little match to have. So, shouts out to one Jack Perry, Jungle Jack. Go ahead and do your thing. But with that, we're going to end the show this week. We are not going to do our big 3 of the month. So how we going to do this is this time I had it labeled the trios of the month. You know, because 3. Well, how about instead of the trios of the month next month, we're going to do the 6-man tag belts of the month, or the 6-man division of the month. Because what we're going to do next month is we're going to have 2 picks for good, 2 picks for the loser, and we're going to have 2 picks for the you aight.
Oh,
so it's going to be the 6-man.
Double up.
See what I'm doing there? Pick it up. Yeah, we doubling it up. So the trios and the 6-man.
I see the white vision. I see the vision.
But y'all, that is it for Ring Theory. We are about to go around the horn, but before we do that, you can catch us this Sunday on the Post Wrestling Network for the Nubian Wrestling Advocates podcast. We are going to be back in effect, kicking it on the drive to 500. We're going to have the WrestleDream pay-per-view to cover and talk about whatever crazy nonsense has fallen out from SmackDown, which might not be anything because SmackDown can put you to sleep. Hey, sometimes the best way to kick off your weekend and getting a good night's rest. But if they put something exciting on and shake it up on SmackDown for us as well, we'll be covering all those things and looking forward to the future of Saturday Night's Main Event. And the slow crawl to John Cena's final match. But with that said, Ray, what you got for the people?
Well, like you mentioned, go ahead, tune into us this Saturday or this Sunday rather. Sorry, I'm getting WrestleDream and NWA mixed up. Tune into us this coming Sunday, around 8-ish. You know how we do on that CP time, but around 8-ish on Post Wrestling's YouTube channel. You could catch us live there. For Nubian Wrestling Advocates, discussing a lot of stuff that's transpired over the last month. You can also tune into Nubian Nefarious Media for all the things coming up. We just had a live parlay episode from this past Monday with myself, Nate Milton, and Chris, and I believe Jay. Were you there or?
No, it was not me.
Brother
Gerard.
I can't remember that brother in sunglasses.
It's the other brother. The other one. The other lookalike.
Oh, sorry. Y'all tag team. Y'all like the Bella twins, or y'all like the Villanos that be tricking me, bro. But yeah. Oh yeah, Gerard joined us on it. Yeah. Yeah, that brother in sunglasses.
Dang.
Yeah.
Shots fired.
But yeah, we had the parlay that just came up from this past Monday. We're going to have this episode of Ring Theory up. If you couldn't catch us live here on YouTube, it'll be up wherever you listen to your podcast on Monday. We're also going to have an SBF episode, Styles Break Fights episode, recapping all the news that transpired over the sport of MMA over the last month, including I believe it was UFC 322, where we have a new champion who's a familiar face in one Poetan, Alex Pereira. We also have Marab staking his claim as possibly the greatest UFC bantamweight to ever fight in the division. So we'll be talking about that along with a lot of other news transpiring over the course of the month within the sport of mixed martial arts. So all that good stuff either is already up or is upcoming right here on Nefarious Media Network, wherever you can get your podcast, or right here on the YouTube channel. And you can follow me if you want to follow me personally, Mondo Dondo 1 on Instagram, or Two-Way Ray on Twitter and Blue Sky.
Jay?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at Jarek_wins. That's primarily where I do all my social media at this point. I do have a Twitter as well too, so you can follow me there. And be sure to listen and check us out on the NWA podcast this weekend, this Sunday night. Do not want to miss all the shenanigans that are going to be discussed this weekend. So also anything else on the Nefarious Network. So keep it where you got it. Just don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Thanks.
Big facts. And with that said, you can catch me on Instagram, Brown first of his name. You can catch me right here on the Nefarious Media Network on the drive to 500 in the back seat. I'm just happy to be along on the ride, participating and doing my thing. Just don't throw my CD out the window like Johnson's Family Vacation. That's all I ask. My music's cool. I just keep it in the back. Don't do me like that. But I'll see you next time, next week, next month in class. Don't forget your pen. Don't forget your pad. This is Ring Theory, y'all. Peace and chicken grease.